got the oil pan back from the machine shop, which means that I can throw the oil pan back on, flip the engine over, put on the cylinder head, put on the cam tower, put on the timing belts, and get the engine on the hoist, and then get it off the stand and put the clutch stuff on and get it ready to go back into the car. Well, I don't know if you can tell by that video, but the oil pan did not fit. I wiped out all the Permatex, so I just put on there a little bit of a waste, but the oil pan doesn't fit because the machine shop welded in the baffle 3/4 of an inch too far forward. So the oil sump comes into contact with it, and it bent my my extension ring a little bit, which I don't really care too much. I was kind of forcing it on there, but so I'm gonna have to take the plastic baffle off, take this back to the machine shop so they can fix it. 2 inch from the outside of the drain hole plug. My guess is he made a mistake and measured it 2 inches from the inside part, because that looks to be about 3/4 of an inch. But at 3/4 of an inch, it means the oil pan doesn't fit. I'm a little upset right now. Alrighty, it's the next day, and I got the oil pan back from the machine shop and part 2, and got it test fitted up here. And as you can see, it all fits. Take it off and show you what he did to fix it. You can see where it was welded in, and he moved it back that 3/4 of an inch, and he ground down the welds. He's able to cut it out and reuse this, and he did a really good job. So now this is actually ready to go back on the car, and we can start assembling stuff.
Yeah.
Alright, I'm torquing down the cylinder head right now. Oil pan is on. The recommended torquing procedure for this cylinder head calls for 15 minutes in between torque sequences, just to make sure things settle. I'm going to go ahead and follow that, even though I think it's a little bit excessive. In the meantime, I'm going to install the new engine mounts. I got pretty much the entire long block assembled and all the accessories on it that I can fit onto it while still being able to get it into the car. Really the only thing I haven't put on was the exhaust manifold, because I need to go out and get the correct hardware to fit it. So right now I'm getting the crane set up to get the engine off the hoist and onto the ground so that I could get the clutch on and the bell housing. And then once I get those bolts for the exhaust manifold and get that all squared away, then the engine will be ready to go back into the car. Now I got the rear of the engine exposed. I can properly tap the seal in. I got it started when I put on the crank girdle and stuff, but I need to use I got a PVC pipe cap that I'm gonna use to make sure that goes against the lip that's in the back there, make sure it's all the way in. I also got to pull out the old pilot bearing race and put a new pilot bearing in, and just the rest of the clutch stuff. Making pretty good progress. I have the rear main seal tapped all the way in. I got the new pilot bearing on, and in order to get the old race out of the crankshaft, I put a bolt and a washer through, and then just globbed on weld, and the heat mixed with this, and actually the old balance shaft front cover as a spacer, and used a nut and pulled the old race out. Absolutely disgusting, but I didn't really film a lot. Camera died. I didn't bother to reset it because the engine was just a bear to get in. That was way too difficult to get in there. It did not want to be in the engine bay, but as you can see, it's in. Got the torque tube bolted up anyway, which is the hardest part, getting that lined up. One of the motor mounts has one bolt in it. The subframe is still, hanging loose. So I'm gonna worry about all that tomorrow. I'm pretty excited about that. Getting it actually in there and off the stand and out of the garage floor. Now, step 2 is getting rid of this hoist and getting the engine bolted up and the car able to sit on the ground. Feel like an old man. My bicep is cramping. My hip is cramping. I'm calling it now.